My fiancée went live on girls' night, trashing me to her friends, unaware I was watching. She laughed. He's so clueless. I replied in the live chat, am I? Then I ended the engagement publicly in the comments. She was panicking, trying to end the live stream as she realized what happened. I, 32M, am still kinda reeling, but also weirdly calm. Last night was supposed to be Rachel's 29F girls' night. We're getting married in 6 months. I was at home, scrolling through social media, bored. Her friend, Carolyn, who I've always found a bit much, went live. The title was Spilling Tea, Pre-Wedding Shenanigans. Curiosity killed the cat, right? I clicked, and there was Rachel, front and center. Glass of wine in hand, laughing her head off with Carolyn, and 2 other friends, Janet and Maria. At first, it was generic wedding stress stuff. Venue deposits, dress fittings. Then Carolyn nudged Rachel. So come on, how's Mr. Perfect really holding up with all this? Is he still doing that adorable, heavy sarcasm thing where he double-checks every spreadsheet? Rachel snorted. Oh my God, Patrick? He's so clueless. Thinks this whole wedding is just ticking boxes, budgets, timelines. He has no idea about the real stuff. Janet chimed in. Like how you're planning to re-educate him on home decor once you're married? Out with the bachelor pad beige. They all cackled. It got worse. Rachel, slurring slightly. Honestly, sometimes I think he's more in love with his job and his savings account than me. But it's fine, he's manageable. And he's got a good salary, so that'll fund the dream house, the dream vacations. Once I've trained him up a bit, obvious. He's whipped, girl. You've got him wrapped around your little finger. Rachel, preening. Pretty much. He's so predictable. So safe. He'd never suspect a thing. Thinks I'm just his sweet little angel. She then did this mock angelic face that made my stomach turn. She actually said, he's so clueless, and they all roared with laughter. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just wedding stress banter. This was contempt. Calculating. My chest felt tight. I wasn't angry, not then. It was more like a switch flipped. That cold, clear, oh, this is what's happening feeling. I typed in the live chat under my actual account name, am I? The comments were flying by, but Carolyn saw it. Her eyes widened. Rachel, she muttered, pointing to the screen. Rachel leaned in, squinting. Her smile froze. Then, pure, unadulterated panic. Her face went white. Oh my God, Patrick! I typed again. Rachel, since you're sharing with everyone, let's be clear. The wedding is off. Engagement over. You can keep the dream house funded by someone else. Have a good night. She started fumbling with her phone, desperately trying to end the live. Her hands were shaking. Carolyn, stop it. End the stream. End it. The last thing I saw before it cut off was her face, a mask of horror, staring at her friends who looked equally stunned. My phone immediately started blowing up. Rachel, her mom, Carolyn. I ignored them, blocked Carolyn, turned off my phone, poured myself a stiff drink, sat there in the quiet. The ring, a custom piece we'd designed, felt heavy on my coffee table where I'd just placed it. 15 minutes later, my doorbell rang. Rachel, mascara streaking, looking like a mess. Her mom, Deborah, was with her, looking furious. Rachel, voice cracking, Patrick, please, it was a joke. Just stupid girl talk, it didn't mean anything. Deborah, stepping forward, young man, you have humiliated my daughter. Over a silly prank, you can't just call off a wedding in a comment section. I looked at Rachel. Was it a joke when you said I was clueless? Manageable? That my only value was my salary? No, I mean, yes, I said it, but it was the wine, and Carolyn egging me on. You know I love you. Me, calm? I don't think you do, Rachel. And I certainly don't love the person I just saw in that video. This is outrageous. We have deposits paid, guests invited. You are going to fix this, Patrick. Rachel is a good girl. She was just letting off steam. Deborah, with all due respect, your daughter publicly humiliated me and outlined her plans to use me. The only thing to fix is disentangling our lives. The wedding is off. That's final. Rachel started sobbing. My dress, the venue, my friends all saw. You've ruined everything. Me? You did that, Rachel, when you decided to broadcast your true feelings to the world. I told them to leave. Deborah kept screeching about money and reputation. Rachel just cried. Eventually they left. My phone is still going wild. Texts from her friends, some angry, some confused. I don't feel much, just empty and weirdly resolved. I need to call my lawyer tomorrow, and the venue, and everyone else. This is going to be a mess. But better a mess now than a disaster of a marriage. Update 1. Wow. What a fortnight. Thanks for all the messages, dude. Most of you get it. Some of you think I was harsh. Fair enough, but you weren't on the other side of that screen. So the fallout. Rachel didn't take final as final. The day after the live stream incident, as I now call it, she and Deborah showed up at my work, my actual office, caused a scene in the lobby. Rachel crying, Deborah demanding to speak to my boss to make him see sense. Security had to escort them out. My boss, thankfully, is a decent guy, heard the short version from me later, and just said, "Handle your personal life, Patrick, but not in my lobby." Mortifying. Then came the demands. Through her newly acquired lawyer, a Mr. Samuel, apparently, I owed her for emotional distress and public humiliation, and for all non-refundable wedding expenses. The sheer audacity. Mr. Samuel sent a letter demanding I pay her $10,000 for the deposits she, read, her parents mostly, and some of my contributions paid, plus an additional $5,000 for her suffering. My lawyer, Miss Christine, who is a shark, bless her, basically laughed, sent back a very polite letter stating that Rachel voluntarily and publicly breached the implicit terms of our engagement agreement by, and I quote, publicly defaming and expressing contempt for my client, thereby demonstrating a clear lack of intent to enter into the marriage in good faith. We also pointed out that she was the one who broadcast her intentions to an audience. The entitlement from Rachel's side is just staggering. She genuinely seems to believe she did nothing wrong. Her main supporter, Carolyn, has been all over social media with vague posts about toxic men, and some people can't handle strong women. Lol. Okay, Carolyn, Rachel's dad, Gregory, actually called me. He's always been a quiet, reasonable guy. He sounded tired. Patrick, son, I know Rachel messed up badly. But it's a disaster. Her mother is beside herself. Can't we find a compromise? Some way to lessen the public shame? I told him respectfully, Gregory, she didn't just mess up, she revealed her entire game plan. There's no compromise on that. I'm out. He sighed, said he understood, but that Rachel was in a bad way. The bad way apparently involves her calling me nonstop from burner numbers. I've blocked so many, leaving tearful, then angry, then pleading voicemails. How could you do this to me? Is a common theme. And the dirty tricks started. Small stuff, but telling. My Netflix password got changed. It was a shared account. I've since secured all mine. Then I got a notification for a bunch of expensive skincare charged to a department store card that I am the primary holder of, and she was an authorized user on. She'd never used it for more than a coffee before. I'd forgotten about that one in my initial sweep. Called the credit card company, reported the card stolen, technically unauthorized use now, and disputed the charges. They're investigating. It was over $800 in fancy creams and serums. Like, really? Your life is imploding and you go on a revenge beauty binge on my dime? Miss Christine is already compiling all this. The attempted charges, the harassment at work, the voicemails. She said it paints a picture of someone who is not acting in good faith, which will be helpful if they actually try to sue for those deposits. A couple of our mutual friends have reached out. Some are supportive of me. Others are trying the, she's really sorry, she's just young and dumb angle. Young, maybe. Dumb? Not in the way she meant it. Calculating is the word. The biggest headache is the venue. They're holding firm on the deposit, which was significant, about $8,000, half of which I paid directly. Rachel's parents paid the other half. Her lawyer is arguing I should forfeit my half and reimburse them for theirs because I unilaterally canceled. Miss Christine is arguing that Rachel's actions constituted a fundamental breach, making the contract impossible to fulfill under the original pretenses. It's a stalemate for now. It's draining, I'm not gonna lie. There are moments when I just feel this wave of sadness for the relationship I thought I had. But then I remember her face, laughing with her friends about how clueless I was, and the calm returns. This is damage control. Necessary. Update 2 months later. Alright, buckle up, it escalated. Because of course it did. So Mr. Samuel, Rachel's lawyer, must have realized the emotional distress angle wasn't flying, especially after Miss Christine sent him a compilation of Rachel's, let's call them enthusiastic voicemails and a log of the blocked numbers. Not to mention the security report from my office. Their new strategy? Pure, unadulterated financial warfare, with a heavy dose of entitlement. First, the venue. They actually tried to sue me for the full venue cost, arguing I broke the contract. Miss Christine was ready. We countersued for my half of the deposit, citing Rachel's actions as the reason for cancellation. We also had the saved live stream footage, thank you screen recording, and the chat logs. When Mr. Samuel was made aware, we had irrefutable proof of Rachel's statements before I commented, including her explicitly stating her financial motivations. He suddenly became much more amenable to settling the venue issue. Funny how that works. In the end, we both lost our deposits. Annoying, but better than paying for the whole damn thing. Rachel's parents were apparently livid they didn't get their money back from me. Then Rachel and Deborah doubled down on the public humiliation and ruined reputation angle, but this time they got nasty. Someone, and I have my very strong suspicions it was Carolyn, goaded by Rachel, started spreading rumors. Really ugly stuff. They began messaging my female colleagues and friends of friends on social media with fabricated stories about me being controlling, emotionally abusive, even hinting at financial impropriety at my job. Just vile, baseless accusations designed to wreck my personal and professional life. My boss called me in again. This time, he was more concerned. He'd received an anonymous email, surprise, surprise, with some of these allegations. I was furious, but I kept my cool. I explained the situation, the live stream, the breakup, the harassment. I said, this is retaliation, it's baseless. He knows my work ethic, knows my character. He said HR would have to do a cursory confidential check due to the nature of the allegations, financial stuff, which is serious in my field. It was a stressful week, but thankfully it was all dismissed as unsubstantiated. The damage, though, to my peace of mind? Huge. This was the line, the absolute limit. Trashing me to her friends was one thing, trying to bleed me dry financially was another. But attempting to destroy my career and reputation with lies? Game on. All gloves off. Miss Christine was already working on a cease and desist for harassment. After the work rumors, we upgraded. We filed for a restraining order, citing the stalking behavior, workplace, burner phones, the financial harassment, attempted credit card fraud, and now defamation. We included sworn affidavits from colleagues who received the messages and the anonymous email to my boss. The hearing was something else. Rachel showed up looking like butter wouldn't melt, all teary-eyed and victim. Deborah was there, scowling. Carolyn was there too, smirking from the back until the judge told her to sit down and be quiet or be removed. Mr. Samuel tried to paint Rachel as the heartbroken, wronged woman. Miss Christine just played a few key snippets from the live stream. The clueless comment, the manageable comment, the his salary will fund the dream house comment. Then she presented the evidence of the workplace harassment, the attempted credit card fraud, the sheer volume of calls from blocked numbers. When Miss Christine brought up the anonymous emails and messages to my colleagues, Rachel actually whispered, "Carolyn, you weren't supposed to," loud enough for our side to hear. Mr. Samuel looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him. The judge was not impressed with Rachel at all. He lectured her about accountability and the seriousness of making false allegations. He granted the restraining order. Rachel has to stay 100 yards away from me, my home, and my workplace. No contact, direct or indirect. That means no more calls, no texts, no social media messages, and critically, no getting her friends to do her dirty work. Carolyn looked like she'd swallowed a wasp when that part was read out. The look on Rachel's face when the restraining order was granted? Pure shock. Like she genuinely couldn't believe there were consequences. Deborah was sputtering about appealing. As for the revenge part, it wasn't about theatrics, it was about precision. The live stream. That video is saved, backed up in multiple locations. It's a permanent reminder of what she did, and an instant credibility killer for any victim narrative she tries to spin. Financial cutoff. Beyond the initial card cancellations, I made sure every single financial entanglement was severed. Any joint bills were switched to my name and her access removed, or vice versa if it was predominantly hers. She wanted to be independent? Granted. Legal shield. The restraining order is ironclad. Any attempt to harass me now has immediate legal repercussions. Miss Christine also sent Mr. Samuel a very strongly worded letter, outlining potential civil action for defamation if any further false statements are made by Rachel or anyone demonstrably acting on her behalf. We named Carolyn specifically as a person of interest in that letter regarding the rumor spreading. Heard through the grapevine, Carolyn is now terrified of being sued. Social circle cleanup. The friends who tried to defend her or pressure me, politely but firmly cut off. I don't need that kind of judgment or flying monkey behavior in my life. The ones who supported me? They're gold. The aftermath? Rachel is apparently a mess. Her parents are furious with her for the legal costs and the restraining order, which is now a public record. The dream wedding savings are gone, eaten up by lawyers and lost deposits. Heard she had to move back in with her parents because her part-time job doesn't cover her lifestyle, especially now that my clueless salary isn't in the picture. There was no dramatic, "I hope you learned your lesson" speech from me. Just the cold, hard reality of her actions hitting her. Orchestrated by the legal system she inadvertently invoked. She wanted to play games. She found out I knew the rules better. I'm not happy about this. There's a lingering bitterness, but there's also peace. The constant barrage has stopped. I can breathe. I'm focusing on my work, my real friends, and rebuilding. It'll take time to trust someone like that again, but that's a problem for future Patrick. Present Patrick is just glad the circus has finally left town, even if I had to legally compel them to pack their tents. She thought I was clueless. Turns out she was the one who had no idea what she was getting herself into.